time, an illustration of punch based on 2 days later, he would send back completed artwork from the Western Front. There is wonderful correspondence. We've got access to his pocket diaries, to his correspondence with his wife. There's a wonderful one where, I'm going to have to hurry with Shepherd, so you look at the dates, it's the first Battle of Passchendaele. So it's implied not reply, but sure enough, 3 days after that, the artwork comes back. And I've got a personal theory about, we're still, exploring the work, including, 25 crates that really haven't been opened since Shepherd in the mid-70s put things in these crates. There are just such riches, such wonderful things. I've got a personal theory. He adapted completely to, he didn't talk about the First World War after the end of it, but his work in terms of creating that rural idyll, in terms of that very kind of English idyll that he did in Wind and Willows and Winnie the Pooh, it comes out of a sort of a longing, I think, that stems from what he experienced in the blasted landscapes of the First World War. So we're really, really excited about that show. It will be work that hasn't been exhibited before. It's coinciding with a book that is being written by a member of Shepherd's family about his work as a war artist. So that's really exciting. And then into next year, we've got a number of things. We're doing a show based around women comics, which is going to be very interesting. And I'm not going to say too much more about that because it's all top secret and I'd have to kill you if I told you. Also next year, we're looking at doing things with Colin Blake because it's the 50th anniversary of the BFG. We are also going to be doing an Arditsonia exhibition, which won't have been done in the way that there hasn't been a serious Arditsonia exhibition for, I can't remember when. So that's really exciting, and we're really, really excited about having that here at House Illustration. And we are also planning an exhibition on Russian children's illustration between 1925 and 1935, which, you'll all know the book Under the Rainbow is sort of loosely based around that, but it's such an extraordinary period of illustration, and what was happening in Russia in that period, it really wasn't paralleled anywhere else. And so, yeah, there are some exciting things coming up. What we try and do, so they're some of the main strands of our programming. What we're trying to do at the same time is sort of counterbalance things like that with much more contemporary work. So you'll have seen the work of Hattie Stewart in our South Gallery. Hattie Stewart is extraordinary. She's a 25-year-old illustrator who, she's a doodle bomber in the parlance of today. And she takes advertising and subverts it and adapts it and adds to it. And it's another strand of illustration. It's a huge following that she has, huge, young contemporary following, and it's been great. It's part of what we want to do each year is commission 2, perhaps 3 illustrators to produce work to go into the South Gallery and to give it, exposure in a way that perhaps they wouldn't get otherwise. And for her, it's the first time she's worked on a large scale like that. As you'll have seen, it's squares of fabric that have then been stitched together. And again, it's got such impact, and we're really excited about that. Exhibitions like the 170th anniversary of the postage stamp and the contribution that illustrators have made to stamp illustration. And we had David Gentleman here last week, who is the most extraordinary illustrator, the most wonderful person who has basically drawn everything and illustrated everything and designed everything that you can imagine, from the highway code through to whole kind of generations of stamps. But it's really interesting, and the response from lots of illustrators to the brief, which was decorate an envelope, send it to us here at House Illustration, and we will exhibit it. And then it goes on to the Hay Festival after here. So it's only on for quite a sort of short period. But it's caught the public imagination. And we've got a little section there, as you probably saw, where the public are invited to decorate an envelope, stick a stamp on it, put it in the post box, and send it to themselves. And it's that lovely idea of, decorated envelopes, which you just don't see so much anymore. It was so interesting. Quentin was here last week for something. And I said, oh, you've got to come and see this exhibition, it's really, really exciting. So he went up and he looked down the list of contributors. I taught them. He was with Linda Kitson, and she said, yeah, but I taught them. And I go, oh, should we so? The whole list, about 2/3 of this were people that they taught to the Royal College of Art. And again, fascinating. But anyway, so the idea is in the other smaller spaces, and the space we've used for the postage exhibition, it was supposed to be a storage space. It was supposed to be where we store these chairs. But when we opened the building, I thought it's too good a space. We've got to use it in some way. So ultimately, we'll be converting that into proper, better gallery space. Something we're doing which is really exciting at Christmas is with Lauren Childs, you probably know in terms of Charlie and Lola. Lauren, a lot of her work, like Princess and the Pea, she uses her doll's house. Her doll's house, which she's been working on for 40 years. She's not old enough to have been working on it for 40 years, but that's what she says. And we're going to be exhibiting in the doll's house in a little show that looks at the way in which she, as an illustrator, uses that as part of her process in terms of illustrating. It's really exciting and has shown me the world of doll's houses, which is, as a bloke, I really didn't know about at all, although my daughters have gradually introduced me. There is this incredible network of people who are passionate about doll's houses. I sat next to someone at dinner the other day who had a barn devoted to 50 doll's houses. And there's such I don't know if you know, if you read the book The Miniaturist, which is about, inspired by the doll's houses, the writing museum in Amsterdam, and the author of that, became fascinated when I went to the Rice Museum, but I've discovered since writing this, all these people have come out of the woodwork who are passionate about doll's houses. And in fact, I think the Wellcome Trust over on Euston Road did an exhibition about doll's houses and death, and the kind of scientific use of dolls and doll's houses and so on. So it's a big area. So it's a really exciting time for us. I mean, the challenge for us is from a standing start. I mean, we literally opened our doors, and that had been the mission for so long, to suddenly having to be a fully functioning arts organisation. And we're very pleased about some of the things we've done. We have 25,000 followers on Twitter, which is more than galleries that have been in existence for 40 years, 50 years. There are lots of things we're doing like that. We will be launching a friend scheme later in the year that I hope you will all join. It will give you benefits in terms of coming to exhibitions for a one-off payment rather than paying every time you come. And there are lots of exciting things happening. The challenge for us is to get ourselves better known, so anything that you can do to spread the word about us. The challenge is the site. Every day the hoardings move. We are in the middle of a building site. We will be, come the autumn, the hoardings will be down. Next to us, it will be, well, the bit we're most excited about, it's going to be two things. It's going to be a guardian space for exhibitions, talks, seminars, and lectures and all sorts of amazing things, but actually it's the Waitrose next door that's the most exciting, which opens up in the autumn. There's a bar restaurant just between us and the canal, which is going to be opened in the autumn as well, and run by Cubit House. And I don't know if any of you know Cubit House, but they have the most fantastic, bars and restaurants around them. They only have 6 in total. They're a small company and they do things absolutely brilliantly. And this whole site will be porous from York Way, from Kings Boulevard, and we will be far more visible than we are at the moment. And that's going to make a huge difference for us. Not least, we will then have completed our planning battles with Camden Council and the developers of the site and the art fund upstairs, so we will have proper signage on the building that says House Illustration, so we're very excited about that. But the biggest challenge of all is we don't get any public money at all. We've had no lottery money, we don't get Arts Council funding, and so we have to generate every single penny for our running costs. And that is, in any climate, let alone the current climate, a difficult one. But we've done pretty well so far, so I'm optimistic. And I could carry on talking for hours and hours, but I should hand over to you if there are questions.
Hans Christian Andersen Award has already been completed thanks to the people who have prepared the dossier, and Nikki will be arranging an event with Chris Riddell and Elizabeth Ladd, who are our nominees, which looks like it will be in November.
It'll be the 3rd or 4th of November, so in London somewhere.
What
Tuesdays and Wednesdays.
So we'll be looking at that. But both Elizabeth and Chris Riddell are doing quite a lot of work over the summer at various festivals. So if you are going to any children's literature festivals, it's worth looking out for them. And they're both fantastic people and very talented, so we're very pleased to have them. The events programme is written about. The annual IBBY conference is obviously a highlight of the year, and it was a very successful conference last year. We will be recording the papers shortly to go out for the next conference, which is going to be on the 14th of November. And the title, as far as I can remember, I think I might have 1 or 2 words wrong, is Steering the Craft, Navigating the Process of Book Creation in the 21st Century. So it's very wide open. Melvin Burgess is a guest writer at Roehampton at the moment, so he's confirmed as a speaker. They've given it to him as part of this contract with them. And they're putting the programme together at the moment, so we'll be in touch with you about that. IBBY Link has gone very well this year. This is the current issue, which is on belonging. As you know, we tend to avoid paper now because of costs, and most things are sent electronically. But this is all on the IBBY website, and it's a very, very good benefit of being a member of IBBY, because it's a very interesting and comprehensive journal, really worth reading.
If you want to look at that at the end, then please do.
Ferrell is the editor of it, so she can talk to you about the forthcoming programmes, but she's always got a plan for 3 issues ahead. And then finally, I just wanted to say, thanks to John, obviously, as ever, for the work he does on the Christmas card, which is a big fundraiser for IBBY, because we always have this balance of kind of juggling the cost of belonging to IBBY internationally with the money that we get from our membership. And because IBBY is based in Switzerland and the Swiss franc is now free floating and sort of rather expensive coinage, it costs quite a lot of money to pay for all the things that we have to pay before. So every bit of fundraising really helps us. And Sue will talk a bit more about that when she talks about it.
I can say here that the design for this year is going to be Jan Pienkowski again, who was the first picture book designer 7 years ago, I think. So yeah, we're looking forward to getting his illustration in the next few weeks.
And then finally, I just wanted to say a few things about the committee. We're very pleased that the Booksellers Association have agreed to have a representative on our committee again, because for many years we had John Newman, who had to resign and he changed his job, and Mary Hawes is going to take over that role, so that's very good news for us. It's been a great committee to work with this year. We've had a lot to do, and it's been lovely to have reliable people who just get on with things and do it. And it's been, I think, a very creative team to work with. So I just wanted to say thank you to everyone on behalf of each other, really. We were very sorry that Michelle had to leave. And she was hoping to be here today.
Yeah, she was.
Not, so it would be nice to thank her. Yeah. And then just to say that, as far as I'm aware, John and I are aware, most of the committee are willing to stand again for next year, apart from Beth, who, as many of you know, is going to have a baby, which we're very thrilled about, and it's a bit difficult for her to maintain committee work, but she will support us continually with specific areas of knowledge and expertise, and so we'll be using her for that anyway. And so I just want to thank everyone for what they've done and say this has been our year, and there are what we've done. There are questions.
So can I have somebody to tackle the propose the report overhead? And Anne, thank you.
And so Sue will run you through finance and membership and treasurer's report, which is also got as a separate program.
For those of you who haven't seen our financial report before, I should just say that we actually have 3 bank accounts. The first one, which is on the first page, is what I think of as our operating account.